What's up, everybody? It's your shot Buie, back again for another episode of Ballin' with Buie, where I cover the hottest topics in sports, especially if it is OU related. Today, I want to break down UFC 258. It was a great card, so let's dive right in. First fight of the night was supposed to be Jim Miller versus Bobby Green, but Bobby Green ended up collapsing just after the weigh-ins. He ended up having a kidney failure, so they ended up having to scratch the fight the day before. So the first fight of the night ended up being the second fight of the main card in the middleweight division. Maki Pitolo versus Julian Marquez. Marquez came in as minus 177 favorite. Pitolo, I had him winning the first round. He had ground control for the majority of the round. There wasn't much action on their feet. Like I said, yeah, on the ground the majority of the first round. Gave it to Pitolo. In the second round, I also had that one for Pitolo. Again, ground control. He controlled Marquez. Marquez could not stop his takedowns, and once Marquez got down, he just really couldn't get back up. Pitolo controlled all phases of the first and second round. Jump to the third round. It was an all-out brawl. It was back and forth pretty much for the entirety of the third round. Both of them were throwing hands. They weren't on the ground really, which is what Julian Marquez wanted. And that's why he lost the first two rounds, because he didn't get the standing fight that he needed to get to win, which he ended up getting the dub after losing the first two rounds, I thought, in my opinion. So he had to get a finish to win, and he got it in the last minute. Ends up getting an anaconda choke in the last minute of the fight. It was a great fight. I don't remember which fight got fight of the night. I probably would have given it to this one, considering Marquez was down in the first two rounds, so he had to get a finish to win, and he got it in the last minute by submission. Pitolo just slipped up in the last minute because Marquez rolled him off of his stomach, and it was GG's after that. So Marquez gets the dub. Hadn't fought in almost 3 years, so I expected him to win. I had him winning by unanimous decision, but still got the dub just as I expected. So I was right on that call. Second fight of the night ended up being in the featherweight division. Ricky Simon versus Brian Keller. It was moved to the main card. It wasn't supposed to be in the main card, so it was replacing the fight that got scratched. But Simon, it was dominant showing. Brian Keller, I don't know what his game plan was coming into the fight. He did not show up. Didn't really know much about either of these fighters because it was kind of unexpected. I didn't know about it until last minute. But Simon, I had him winning all 3 rounds. I had him winning the first round because he was executing the ground and pound. He busted up Brian Keller pretty bad in that first round. You can jump to the second round. He had another takedown. He was racking up the takedowns in the first and second round, and once again executed the ground and pound. He busted up Brian Keller pretty good in both the first and second round. And then third round, nothing changed. I mean, Brian got a couple shots in that third round, but Simon ended up winning by unanimous decision, which wasn't surprising to me. I thought he deserved to win by unanimous decision. We jump to this third fight. It's the middleweight division, number 9, Kelvin Gastelum, who's minus 225 favorite, versus Ian Heinisch. I thought coming into the fight that Heinisch would win. I was going for the upset in this one, but Gastelum, he wiped him. He won the first round. He landed several solid shots on their feet, and then he ended up having 3 takedowns in the first round. Ian Heinisch, I don't know, he just looked lost. He had no idea how to stop Gastelum from taking him down. His ground defense was absolutely garbage in the first round. You jump to the second round, once again, ground defense, garbage. And Gastelum picked up another takedown, and that was a career high for him, 4 takedowns. His previous career high was 3 for one match. Ends up getting 4 just in the first 2 rounds, but that's all you really need to hear. If he sets a career high in takedowns, you kind of expect him to win, especially if they're on the ground most of the fight, which they were. Ian Heinisch just couldn't do anything. But Gastelum ends up winning by unanimous decision, which wasn't surprising after watching the fight, but I thought Ian Heinisch was going to show up better than that. I expected a much better performance from him, and he did not perform. Let's jump to the co-main, which was a very good fight, I thought. It was flyweight. It was a women's division. Number 10 contender, Macy Barber, versus 15th contender, Alexa Grasso. Grasso was minus 137 favorite coming in. Grasso won first round. It was close. It could have gone either way, but if I was deciding, I would have given it to Grasso. She had a more significant strikes in the round, so I think that gave her the edge. In the second round, I also had Grasso winning. She had a significant amount of clinch strikes, and then she almost got a submission, but Barber was able to slip out of it. but Grasso had like 41 clinch strikes just for the first 2 rounds. She was just pounding her in the clinch, and I ended up having her win by unanimous decision, which she did win by unanimous decision. I thought Barber almost could have won that 3rd round, but I don't think it would have mattered because Grasso grabbed those first 2. But yeah, Grasso wins by unanimous decision. She's up and coming. She's wanting to be the youngest women champion in the history of the sport. So we'll see if she can get it done. And then we jump to this main event. The champ, Kamaru Usman, versus #1 contender Gilbert Burns. As you know, the fight got called off last year because Gilbert Burns had some issues, so Masvidal filled in, like I've said before. But yeah, it was a much anticipated fight. They went to the same gym, and Kamaru Usman actually left the gym, which is surprising because the champ usually don't leave. But yeah, first round, Gilbert Burns came out firing. He was tagging Usman pretty good. I had Gilbert winning the first round because he stumbled Usman once or twice, I believe, maybe twice. But every punch Gilbert Burns was throwing, it seemed like it phased Usman in that first round. But you know, you can't doubt the champ. You can't doubt the champ ever. The second round come out and Usman tore his little you-know-what up. He stunned him and dropped him in the second round. And once he stunned him, it was GG's for Gilbert Burns in that round. He couldn't stop the jab. I mean, Usman's jab was hitting left and right, both hitting whenever he wanted to in that second round. Gilbert Burns could not stop it. He had a lot of swelling after the second round. Going into the third round, I had Usman winning the second round if that wasn't clear. Going into the third round, I thought, okay, Gilbert Burns is going to get his feet back because for that little break, he's not going to be as frazzled. But he comes in and he had a little bit more pep in his step, similar to the first round, but then Usman dropped him again and ended up winning by TKO. He's a champ. What can you expect? He stays undefeated and remains the welterweight champion of the world. Usman, he thinks he doesn't get the respect he deserves, and I don't think he gets the respect he deserves either. After the fight, that's exactly what he said. I believe immediately after the fight, while he was still in the cage, he said, "Take what from who?" And that's exactly right. Take what from who? Because Gilbert Burns ain't taking it. Colby Covington ain't taking it. Tyron Woodley ain't gonna take it. I don't know who's gonna take it. I don't even know who can challenge Usman. Usman called out Masvidal. I guess Masvidal's been talking trash. Usman called him out. Said sign the paper if you want it. We'll see what happens. But I don't think anyone can contend with Usman. But we'll see what happens. He's a dominant fighter, arguably the best in the game right now. I would say Israel Adesanya gets that vote if Khabib stays retired. If Khabib comes back, Khabib is, but I give it to Israel Adesanya over Usman. But I mean, it's neck and neck. But yeah, it was a great card, great main event. I love to see Gilbert Burns get knocked out. But he's a cool dude though, and much love to him. But that's all I got for this podcast. Like always, consider sharing, subscribing. Catch y'all later. Deuces.